welcome to my channel and welcome to my website. My name is Daryl and this is Programming in Any Language. The website is www.black-duck.com. It's where you'll find all my videos organized in logical order. Warning, design change coming. This is typical. We spend some time designing our application, but when we actually start writing the code, we often see things that were not apparent during the design process. What wasn't apparent was just how useful search would be for both the delete and the edit process. We originally thought we would need to search in our delete window to find the record we needed to delete. In effect, all we needed to do was save the pointer in the normal search function and make it available to both the delete and edit. And by doing that, the delete process is pretty easy. Take a look at the following video, and I think you'll agree. Delete's pretty simple. There's not much to it. You basically already picked the record from your select to your search statement, and then you simply know where the pointer is, and you simply take that record and remove it from the system. Looks kind of like this thing right here. Delete. We're going to remove the record and display the count. We do have to change the count. We have to set max. It has to be reduced somewhat, and we're off and going. So it's kind of simple. So we'll take a look at that. Yeah, basically we'll turn on the delete screen by pressing the delete button, and you're going to grab the data from any array element. In fact, if you remember, when we go into select and we pick something, we do turn on the delete and the edit key because that's what we can actually do with it. We can also just look and see what's going on there. We grab the data from the array element based on the pointer, and we change the delete screen to look like the edit screen, but just labels, and turn off the search screen. So we're not using that. I think when we originally developed our system, we're looking at delete as having a search in it too. Unnecessary, because search is going to do all that for us as we go through this. It'll look something like this: just the record name, the login ID, the password, and we'll be able to delete or exit this screen, much like the add screen. You know, when you get right down to it, we're going to whatever's there, we're going to see what's there, and we can delete the records. We'll have full access to look at what's on the screen and make that decision. The user can then exit this and do nothing to the data, or delete the records. So we have two decisions here going across from this standpoint when we look at that. So how do we do this? Well, to get started, we need to go into the delete button itself and jump into this. So I'm going to double click on this guy and we'll get into that. And there's our delete button with nothing in it at this point in time. The first thing we're going to do is all the housekeeping work we do when we work with any of our buttons is basically turn things on, turn things off. And what we've got to do here is we're going to take gbx delete dot visible is going to be equal to true. We're going to turn that on. Turn on the delete screen. gbx search dot visible goes false. Turn off search screen. We don't want to see that anymore because we're into the delete. We do want to now take the three items that we actually looked at by using that pointer variable we created back in the search area and use it to actually pull the data from the three arrays and place them in the labels. So our LBL record name delete makes me wonder if I actually have this thing named. Label record name text. Let's take a look. We need to go see. We're not finding it here, so let's go to our delete screen. We're going to have to see this anyway, so we'll go ahead and send this to the back, send the edit to our back, send the add to the back. There's our delete screen. Let's see what we have. We got, oh, you know, we haven't changed this guy. That's what we have to do. We literally have to change this particular record. So we don't want this anymore. We want something that's going to look more like this. It's going to look more like this. It's going to have the record name, login ID, and password. So we need to change this whole element and make it look more like our add screen. So maybe it'll borrow from our add screen to actually do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the LBX name delete. We don't need this thing on our delete screen at all. I'm going to bring this down and just change its property to, say, record name. We can also change this to be auto size true. Then we can move where we want to move it in there. We want to take our login ID and just simply move it over here. Our password is going to get moved over here. all three of these things can also be turned the auto size false true, and auto size false is true here. So they all stand together. We want to put a little colon after them, so looking like our add button. So this is a typical design change as you're actually working through this. It looked like a good idea when we first were creating this application because we wanted to go search and then delete something. But we already did the search, so we don't need to do this. It makes more sense now to use what we actually did when we did our delete. So we'll bring these guys over together. We'll line these things up later. We do know where the exit delete is going to go right over here and down here. This is going to go here, something like this. This is going to go over here. We need a record name guy right now. Let's go to let's just create a label. Control C, put it up here, and then here's our label. And we want to name this thing then label record name delete. LBL record name delete. And that's sitting there. And this is going to be saying logon ID delete, and this says password delete. So we're in good shape right here. That's looking just fine. We kind of want to extend these things out since we're going to be bringing these things out over here. We don't know how large we're going to be, so we're going to kind of make them a lot longer. And we can kind of extend them out since they are sized. Let's kind of make them, that looks good. Then make these all the same size. With their width. There they go. And we can align their rights. Align their lefts, rather. They're looking pretty good right now. And these guys right here, we're going to go ahead and align their rights. And what I'd like to do is kind of take these three and make their vertical spacing equal. Bring them up by hand. Looks kind of good right about here, maybe. That looks okay. And then take this. I think these three, and we have the rights already lined up, so we've got them set up. So let's go ahead and format align their middles. Format align middles. Format align middles. That's looking pretty decent right now. Looks pretty good. Raise this up a little bit. I kind of want to center this in the form now. The form being the frame. That looks about right. Good. I want to. This says delete record. This is exit delete. That's just fine right now. So I want to take this one and align the left. Whoops, I can't do this. I'm format and format. There we go. Format align lefts. And take this one and format align rights. And they just look good now being kind of set like that. So that now we have our pieces in place there. Now we can go back. Let's do a file save on this. Now we can go back to our delete button that we were trying to build. And one of the things we did, we ended up and set the screen to come up properly. In fact, let's see what it looks like. There it is. Let's do a search on this. There's our stuff here. Okay, we do Walgreens, take a look at it, and do a delete, and that's the way we want to see it. Yeah, of course, we want to get rid of this. We're going to do that next, is get rid of the delete screen so it's not showing. The edit shouldn't be there. We just should be able to do these two things right here. So let's take a look at that. Let's go ahead and we have to exit this way. So next thing we want to do then is we want to go back to our delete scale. We'll put that information in the labels. So let's go ahead and do our LBL record name delete. There it is now. Record name dot text is equal to str record name, and it was max. Oh, it was pointer. That's right, pointer. And this will fill data from arrays. LBL login ID delete .text. That's looking good. We don't need to say anything there. We've got that done already. LBL password delete is all set. So that puts the 3 pieces in there. And then we can go to our button edit. btn edit.enabled is equal to false. Disable edit button. And btn delete .enabled is also equal to false. Why does this keep coming up? IntelliSense is being too helpful. That's looking good. Disable delete button. And now we're good to go. Now we can actually go here. We'll get rid of this line. We don't need that space here. And we'll do a file save and do a run. And do our search and do our Walgreens, and there's our stuff coming up just fine. And all we can do, we can exit the search. Delete didn't go away. Why is delete enabled? Why is delete enabled? Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, because we're in the search. We didn't do anything yet. We haven't done this. So we can go to the delete button, and then we add it up with all the stuff showing, and we can delete the record or exit delete. We can't do anything else. So let's go ahead and program exit delete first. That would make the most sense. Close this thing off. Go to our screen. Click on exit delete. And there's not too much to do here. We simply have to say gbx delete dot visible is equal to false. Turn off delete screen. Next thing we'll do is btn add dot enabled is equal to true. Enable add button. And finally btn search enabled is true. We're basically putting ourselves back where we were. Enable search button. Putting us back where we were when we actually began the process of starting the program in the first place. Save all, do a check on this, see if it works. Here's our search, looking at Walgreens. There's Walgreens. We want to delete it. Let's think about deleting it. Nah, let's change our minds. We're not going to delete it. Get out. And that looks fine. Oops, I'm not so sure if this is exactly what we want here. Let's look at this. Let's try that again. Start. Search. Walgreens. We can do delete or edit. We do our delete. This comes up. We can exit delete. We're fine. We can search or add. We want exit to be showing here too as well. I think we have a slight problem here. Let's take another look at this. When we start the program up, exit does show. As soon as we do our search, exit is getting disabled. So I'm thinking that once we hit Toyota or something of this nature, and then hit the delete key, which takes us out of there, we want to do this. That's just perfectly fine. But when we exit, I think we want to turn our exit back on, enable our exit button. So when we hit delete on that part, I'm going to add this to our screen and say we need to do one more thing. But again, testing helps. btn exit dot enabled is equal to true. Enable exit button. You want to be able to get out of the routine if you need to. Do a quick test. Search. Look at Walgreens. Yeah, we want to delete it. Yeah, we changed our minds. Getting out. Now we can actually do a search edit, or we can get out of the program entirely. That's how we want this thing to be handled. Great. Okay. Next thing we want to do, though, is we want to be able to program the delete record button and actually do something there. So let's go ahead and exit and go into that code. We go into that code by jumping into the delete record button by clicking on this. That creates a button delete record area for coding, a method. Okay, for this thing, we're going to be doing this. So the first thing we want to do is, we're going to want to change max. So max is going to be equal to max minus 1. We certainly want to get rid of decrement the pointer. We then want to change our label, our record count, .text to max.toString. So we want to update that on the screen. Then we want to say gbx delete visible. Actually, we want to do all this. We want to take these guys right here and place them right here. We want to be able to turn the delete screen off, take the add button, search button, exit button, and enable them all. Because just like the exit button. We also want to take the labels in the delete screen and blow them away. So we want to be able to take these 3 labels. If you're looking at the screen right now, the delete screen, we've got this stuff here. We don't want to leave it there. We want to actually clean it off. So the next time we come into this thing, they won't be there. So we're going to go ahead and do that by simply going into this code and saying that LBL record name delete .text is equal to quote quote clear delete labels. LBL login ID delete .text is equal to quote quote, and LBL password delete .text is equal to quote quote. Now we only have one other issue. Since we deleted the record in the middle of the array, we have a hole there. We want to fill that hole in most cases. What I want to say is back in here, we actually updated that count. We can do it right here as a matter of fact. We're going to say if pointer is not equal to max. In other words, we're not at the end of the record. If we're at the last record, we delete the last record, there's nothing to do. There's no problem. That simply goes away and we decremented max. But here, if we actually deleted max, and now max is the pointer is the same as long as it's not equal to max, we're good. So what we want to do is we want to take that last record max is pointing to. Because remember now, the array is the same. We do have a hole in there because we're going to get rid of it. How do we get rid of that hole? We get rid of it by taking the last record. And max is not pointing at the last record, it's pointing at the last open record. As we decrement it, then it's pointing at the last record. We want to take the last record and put it to where that hole is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we're going to say, set up our brackets. We're going to say that str record name pointer is equal to str record name max. Why am I hitting? I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Yeah, much better. And then hit a semicolon here, and I've got a problem here. I've got to fix that up. Put the brace in there, bracket in there, not a brace. And that does it. Okay. Now what we're doing here is we're actually move last element to deleted position. And I want to say here, if not deleting last record, then we want to do this stuff. We need to actually move string login ID pointer equals strong login max and str password is equal to, so this moves the last element in the array to where the pointer is, as long as we're not in the last element. If we are in the last element, we don't have to do anything. We simply deleted the last guy and decremented max, and we're fine there. The other thing we need to do now is, because we did do that, we could delete all records, and we could end up with no records in our file again. We have to think about that. And so what we do is we have to say that if max is set equal to 0, then file.delete my passwords.text. We have to get rid of the file. Even though it's empty, we still have to get rid of it, because we don't want any file there. So basically, delete the empty file. And button search that enabled is false. We don't want to do a search. We don't have any records out there. It's just like we came into a brand new program again. So no records, turn off search. And that should put us in good shape here. File save. Save all. Let's see if this thing works. We'll do our search. We'll take Walgreens and we'll delete it. It just deletes the record. And bang, by going like this, it's all gone. We do a search again, Walgreens is gone. So it worked that way just nicely. If we got rid of Amazon and deleted it, search, you would think that it moved the last guy into where it was. It did. But remember, we sorted these records again. Every time we come into the search, we're doing a sort. So we're actually putting them back in order. So it doesn't matter if we take some random record and stick it in the middle of the array, because the sort is going to put them back in sequence again every time we do the search. This is looking good. Okay. Because our we can exit the search. Oh, we can actually do something on here. We can actually now delete, change our minds, exit deleting. That working just fine. Do a search. Let's get rid of all the records. Get rid of this guy. Delete the record. Search. Delete all the records. And let's get rid of one more. This guy right here. Delete the record, and we can't search. All we can do is add. This is working fine. If we get out of the program and come back in again, we get our message, there are no records, you'll be starting a new file. And indeed, that's exactly what we're doing here. So once again, we can go ahead and add our new record. Customer working fine. Okay. So that kind of takes care of it. Our delete record is working. We had some complexities there. We didn't have to worry about cert, but we got rid of any record that was inside the middle of the array. If it was the last record we're deleting, then we simply decremented the max count to less than what it was, one less than what it was. If it happened to go to 0, we were out of records completely. And that meant we had to turn off and get rid of the file we actually had, because we're starting at a brand new program, starting all over again. Thinks of it, we could actually, we could set up something that would actually clear the entire file if we wanted to. I don't think we're going to do that, but we certainly could leave that option ready. But typically, yeah, you know, it might be something to do for version 2 of this program if we wanted to delete all records in one fell swoop instead of going through and deleting them one at a time. But typically, this is going to work just fine. Let's stop there and save our delete program. And the next thing we'll do is we'll do the edit. While deleting a record was pretty straightforward, there were some things to consider in the worst case testing. What happens if you delete all your records? Well, as you saw, the program started like it was brand new. But we had the program for that. Also, deleting the last record in the array was handled slightly differently than deleting any record. Again, testing helped us see that. We'll do the edit next. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. And if you get a chance, please subscribe. That way, you'll be notified when something new is available. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.